Spider-Man is out and it's impossibly fun to swing around in New York City, but if you manage to slow down just for a second, you'll notice countless Easter eggs that most players just zip on by. Number 1. Rocket launchers have very unique specifications. Enemies who wield rocket launchers can be a big pain, but they can also make for some pretty cool shots in photo mode. Maybe this is what developer Insomniac had in mind, since they packed a little gag on the individual rockets for fans like Twitter user Sunny Legend to discover. I wonder if it's too late for goons to get their money back on that warranty. Number 2. Peter Parker's desk is cluttered with in-jokes. The only good look we get at Peter Parker's mess of an apartment comes during the opening cutscene, but that's really all we need. Designers include tons of scribble notes made specifically for nerds who like to go frame by frame and examine every pixel. So let's do that! In addition to reminders to pay rent and call TS, presumably Tony Stark, we can also see a couple trademark Parker goofs. We've got need catchphrase, it's webbing time, as well as mail JJJ roses from Secret Admirer. The best note is actually slightly obscured by another piece of paper, but I feel safe in saying it reads, Spider-Mobile, good idea or great idea? Judging by the way the Spider-Mobile turned out in the comics, I'd have to say, great idea. Number 3. Spidey's snazzy salutations might be a Spider-Man 3 reference. In a bold move for open-world games, Marvel and Insomniac ensured that Spider-Man can't punch, kick, or otherwise maim innocent pedestrians on the street. What he can do, however, is say hello with the push of a button. One of Spidey's stock greetings happens to be the classic finger guns. Seeing those digits out of their holsters reminds me of something. Could it be... Oh no. Maybe it's a coincidence. Then again, this game is packed with all kinds of Marvel Easter eggs, so anything's on the table. Number 4. All kinds of Marvel Easter eggs. The New York City that Spider-Man swings around in is so much like our own, minus, like anything above 141st Street existing. But since this takes place in the superhero world, there are several landmarks that Marvel fans will find familiar. The Avengers Tower juts out of the skyline. But if you go closer to ground level, it's easy to find recognizable locations, like the Wakandan Embassy, Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, and Alias Investigations. If you go down to Wall Street, you'll even find a big bronze statue, but instead of a bull, it's a lockjaw of the Inhumans. Number 5. Electro's redesign still has old-school flair. No one can blame Insomniac for giving Electro a new look. In the modern age, Maxwell Dillon's original flappy-headed costume looks a tad silly. That said, there are a couple nice wrinkles that reference the supervillain's colorful history. On top of keeping the green and yellow color scheme, Electro's facial scarring bears a strong resemblance to the shape of his vintage mask. Number 6. Collectible callbacks. Tucked away through New York City are over 50 backpacks. Every pack you discover contains an artifact from Peter Parker's past. One backpack nets you a child's drawing, which Peter explains that he got as a gift after saving a kid's balloon. Because balloon rescue was one of the more notoriously maligned side quests in the otherwise beloved Spider-Man 2 video game. Players can also find a farewell card from the staff of the Daily Bugle, including a pre-villainous co-worker. Eddie Brock may not have a big presence in the story of the game, but that's what sequels are for. Number 7. A small feature saves Spider-Man from being a murderer. Here's the problem with Spider-Man games. It's incredibly fun to throw bad guys off a 50-story skyscraper, but this kind of conflicts with Peter Parker's no-kill thing. The new game cleverly avoids this pitfall by saving bad guys who would otherwise plummet to their death. Whenever a goon is headed for a fatal drop, they'll spontaneously get webbed to the nearest wall. How do henchmen get down once they're webbed hundreds of feet up in the air? Well, that's a problem for the henchmen to figure out. Number 8. Going through great lengths to deliver quality voiceovers. Spider-Man might be a game about a masked vigilante with mutant powers fighting hordes of supervillains with seemingly infinite resources, but that doesn't mean that Insomniac took their storytelling duties lightly. On Twitter, @KirkHamilton pointed out how Peter Parker switches effortlessly between voice takes depending whether or not he's exerting himself.
Hey, Howard. Think I found one of Pidgey's cousins. Hey, Howard. Think I found one of Pidgey's cousins. Dusty Gray Flex. Might have just left a stain on my suit. Dusty Gray Flex. Might have just left a stain on my suit.
Number 9. Cute little crosswords. This is a tiny one, but still cool nonetheless. In one of the cutscenes, a resident of the Feast Center mentions doing a crossword puzzle. Sure enough, if you maneuver the camera in photo mode, you can see a real solvable puzzle. The crossword contains a couple mistakes, like Iron Man spelled as one word, 11 across seems to be just missing altogether, but the developers probably weren't expecting nerds to analyze every inch of their game. But this'll teach them. Number 10. Fake social media callouts. It's easy to miss, but you can access Spider-Man's social media timeline on the map screen, which changes and reacts to Spidey's actions in the story and side missions. Then there are the Easter eggs, like this post from Monster Catcher Guy that's clearly talking about Pokemon Go. And yet another reference to a lost balloon. That old Spider-Man 2 game is definitely a classic, but you might not want to go back to it after playing Spidey on PS4. Number 11, you can find the Ghostbusters firehouse, and there's a ghost painted on the back. That's pretty much it. There it is. Yeah. Neat. Number 12, nods to Spider-Man's early days. If you dip into Feast, you'll eventually catch a pair of wild lines from a couple of the folks in there saying what they'd do if they had Spider-Man's powers. One says he'd be a TV star, the other says he'd be a wrestler. That sounds familiar. Number 13, a lovely fan request goes, well, horribly wrong. This story started circulating on social media during the weekend of the game's launch, and it's a doozy. Many players have noticed that a movie theater marquee reads, "Maddie, will you marry me?" If it seems like one of those real-life grand gesture proposals, well, that's because it is, or more appropriately, it was. A big-time Spider-Man fan posted a YouTube video, now removed, explaining that he had convinced the developers to display his proposal in-game, only to have the couple break up before release. And in a true display of Parker luck, she's now dating his brother. Kotaku has word that in a future patch, this sign will be changed to reference the player's late grandmother, who fostered his love of Spider-Man. The result might be the only Easter egg that can be described as an emotional roller coaster with a bittersweet ending. Number 14. And here's a silly entry to take the edge off that tragic tale. Peter Parker's quips mostly target villains, but sometimes he jabs at himself. Like when his suit gets ruined and he jokes that he's worried people will take pictures of his 3 chest hairs. Well, much later in the game, when you get a look at the shirtless Spider-Man costume, you see that he's not joking. He really does only have 3 chest hairs poking out of those pecs. Now that is attention to detail.